Very good early morning to everyone. It's Scott at S3 Model Works. I'm going to attempt to do a small kit review. It's a kit I picked up day before yesterday when I was down at the hobby shop after reopening the city. I was down there checking on my part-time job gig, and I ran across this 16th scale Trumpeter kit of a Soviet officer. This is apparently Volume 2, World War II, Russian officer. Got some fairly decent box art there on the front, and a very minor painting guide on the back. It's looks to be a pretty decent kit, so I'll go ahead and get started with my little review here, and we'll take a look at the sprues. So we'll start out with the A sprue, and this is the major portions of the body. We have the epaulets, the holster, two hands with fingernail detail. This looks to be the collar of the tunic, the front and rear pieces of the torso, as well as the front and rear pieces of the bottom of the tunic or the skirt, front and back halves of right and left legs, and ventral and dorsal portions of right and left arms. So that's sprue A. Let's see if I can bring it in a little closer for you guys so you can get a little better look-see. Thought I had everything all centered up, but I guess not entirely. But it doesn't look bad at all. There might be a little bit of flash that cleans up here on the outside, but it looks to be a very clean mold with some fairly decent detail, and it looks to be in scale, in register. I'm far from any kind of expert on Russian uniforms, but I've been trying to improve my figure painting, and quite honestly I wanted something a little bit larger to work on, so I hope it pans out in that direction for me and doesn't just end up being an exercise in futility, because I really would like to up my figure painting skills. So anyway, I'm going to try and keep this review short, probably 10 minutes or so. It shouldn't take long to blow through all this stuff. So we'll move on to sprue B Bravo. So here you'll see the two boots. The boots actually have notches as well as the legs, so that'll make lining everything up nice. But there's a one-piece cap in there with a small seam in it. It's got the Russian star, and it's got a seam across the top of it. One-piece head, which I really like a lot. And let's see if we can bring you guys in for the detail on the face there. Come on, baby. Focus, 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 focus. That's not bad. Doesn't look bad at all. It looks well cast. He's got a full head of hair, so if I chose not to display him with the cap, I guess I could look at that option too, but I don't know if that's an actual Russian hairdo from the era or not. Looks like it's got good detail on it. You know, it's got earlobe detail, it's got nostril detail, it looks like it's got good eyes, nice cheekbones, lips, all the areas that I need to focus on for painting and blending, and maybe wet blending, and give me an opportunity to use my wet palette again too. Even the boots look good. You know, nice leather boots, good creases in them. Looks like some real good opportunity for some shading and worn type areas on that type of boot. So anyway, that's sprue B. Boy, I'm just blowing through this real quick. This is sprue C. So as you can see, we have another version of a holster here. I think one of these holsters, if I remembered looking through the instructions right, one is a synthetic holster and the other, I believe, is a leather blend for the Tokarev or Tokarev 9. The the only real differences I can see on the holsters is that one has a magazine pouch built into it with a snap. This one actually looks like the synthetic one, and this one looks more like it would be the leather version of that. Sorry, we were talking about sprue C here, so let's continue talking about sprue C. So we have some of the major componentry for a PPSH with the magazine. Looks like at least one of the sling swivels there. Belt buckle for the officer's uniform. And to be honest with you, I am not sure what this is unless this is a belt-mounted attachment piece for the holster. There isn't any real call out for it in the very minor instruction sheet that they left me, but I'm going to leave the PPSH up here and show you guys what is next, and hopefully we'll have a good look at this too. It also comes with about a 13-piece fret of photo etch, which looks pretty nice. It's about 13 pieces there, and I'll show you on the instructions, but it looks like number 1 is going to be the banding around the magazine, and 2 is actually a metal version of a trigger guard that needs to be bent. 3 is the back butt plate with what looks to be a scuttle hole for cleaning equipment, so that would be the metal butt plate back here. 4 is the base for the rear sight aperture. 5 is the shroud for the front sight. 6, there's 2 pieces of 6 there, and 6 appear to be, I'm not super familiar with the PPSH, but 6, which are these 2 tiny pieces right here, look like they go back to back or are glued together. I'm not sure, I'll have to get them off the fret to actually see, but they look like they might be windage and or elevation adjustment knobs. 7, this little H looking piece right here. I'm not sure how much farther I can go in on this for you guys, probably not much without blowing it out of focus, but 7 is actually a foldable 2-piece metal trigger. Cool. Actually, that's very freaking cool. 8 looks to be the sling adjustment buckle. 9 is the rear stock sling attachment point. 10 and 11 actually mate with PE4 to create the upper portions of the rear sight base aperture. 12 is the single dot, which actually looks like a triangular piece of the sighting mechanism for the very front sight. And 13 is, 13 is the front sling buckle attachment point. So even if the kit ends up being a total failure, the PPSH ought to sure as hell be fun to build and look at and admire. I don't know. It looks like from the instructions, I may have to get creative as to whether or not I decide to display the weapon like at his feet, maybe lying on the ground, or he doesn't seem to be in a pose where it would look very appropriate slung over his shoulder, as well as obscuring some of that epaulette detail, and I'm not quite sure how it would hang. But also comes with a neat little hexagonal base with a display sign. The only thing I haven't seen so far in the kit yet, and we've already looked at everything, there doesn't seem to be any sort of emblem, but I'm hoping maybe I can find something that I can print on nice vellum or paper to represent his rank, position, or maybe just an identifier of, Soviet officer, World War II, approximate era, and whatever. But yeah, nice little base. So that'll be neat. No positioning points for him, but hopefully if he builds up well, he'll glue on there with no problems. And this is the single page instructions for the PPSH and all that PE that I just called out. So there's a slightly closer look at it for you guys. I hope I'm not blowing that out for you. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, the magazine, it's got the band around it, front sling swivel, the two-piece trigger, the bendable trigger guard, the rear butt plate, the rear swivel attachment point. This is the rear sight aperture and elevation equipment, the shrouded front sight protector, of course bend, and then of course they say you can make the sling out of paper, but quite honestly I'm probably going to use some of that 7/32 stained glass copper foil that I have. That will probably work out really, really well in there. So anyway, I think I'm right at about my 15-minute limit. So we're going to call this this is not my very first Trumpeter kit, but it is my second Trumpeter kit, and quite honestly, it looks to be a fairly decent kit and fun. I'm not quite sure when I'll start it. I have quite a few other things on the go right now, but for 12 bucks, kind of couldn't resist, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't, if for no other reason than building up that PPSH should be a bucket load of fun. So anyway, I'm Scott, S3 Model Works. The dawn is coming, and I still have a little bit of energy left, so I'm going to head outside with my camera stuff and see if I can get some early morning pictures of my Crop Morser so I can add those to the Reveal album over on Model Officers Mess website and get that wrapped up before the group build closes. So I will check with you guys a little bit later. Thanks for spending some time with me. I appreciate it. And you know what? Something that I've been forgetting to do on my YouTube channel is throw a shout out to all of my new subscribers. Geez, I think I'm up to 82 or 83, and that's probably 10 additional in the last month. So for the groups that I participate in, thank you guys for checking out my videos. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoy the content. I certainly appreciate all the kind comments I've had over the months that I have been doing videos. Hopefully I'm doing better videos for you guys and trying to keep it interesting, different, and just be me and have fun and share this great hobby and this great love of my artistic side with my friends and family. So you guys take care. Peace out. I'm Scott. Bye for now.